Big Bull was intended for the cinemas.
Right.
It was shot keeping that scale in mind, and if you've seen the trailer, everything about it is larger than life. To my ignorance, I wasn't aware that scam was being made. We finished the shooting of Big Bull in 2019, and then obviously we got stuck because of the lockdown and the pandemic. I did Guru, wow, when I was 28, 29, and I played a 70-year-old character in whom there's a lot of emphasis on body.
Yeah.
Various times I was asked, oh, why haven't you shown your six-pack? Jay Dixit is not the kind of cop who's going to walk around shirtless. He's not going to be bothered about taking off his shirt. That's not his character. I've been telling my entire team that, guys, we've got to look for a comedy now because I need to blow off some steam, have some fun.
Hello everyone, I'm Parul Sharma and today I have with me the incredible Abhishek Bachchan. Hi Abhishek, welcome
Hello.
to Midday.
Thank you for those kind words.
So my first question is very back to basics, okay? How was lockdown for you and the whole ordeal of battling COVID?
I think people have become a bit indisciplined about it, and being somebody who's been through it, it's not a pleasant experience, and we have to take whatever precautions, continue to wear your mask if you're going out, maintain social distancing, and keep, hand sanitization. I just feel somewhere maybe the people have just started believing that this thing has gone away. It's not gone anywhere. So we still have to be very vigilant. So how was the lockdown? Very honestly, I didn't mind it. For the first time, and this was something my wife brought to my attention when we were having a discussion, and she said, "Look, think of it this way: it's the first time the whole family is getting to be under the same roof and spend time together, which we very rarely get to do. My family has got individuals that are always busy doing their jobs."
Absolutely.
And very rarely, although we're staying under the same roof, we don't get that time together. So I was just really happy that I got to spend some really good quality time with my family.
Was there any time that, while you were isolating or, in the hospital, that you had some sort of realization or some thought that struck you that wouldn't have happened during the normal course of our lives?
There's a lot, because when you're all alone, there's a lot of time you get to do to ruminate and to think. And I think the first thing that comes to your mind is that, your family's health, safety, and happiness is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
And it just puts a lot of things into perspective of, I feel somewhere we have misplaced priorities currently in life. We feel that a lot of materialistic things are the end goal. And they can be for several, and that's fine. But I think you have to realize also that at the end of the day, the health and safety of your loved ones and near and dear ones is far more important. And we should concentrate a bit more on that than just running after the material things that we do.
So the Big Bull sort of took the digital route and it's releasing on a streaming giant, which is crazy just in terms of the reach that it'll have now. But having said that, was there just a teeny tiny part of you that was kind of hoping that it would make it to the big screen, or were you very content?
Of course, Parul. I'd be lying if I said anything different. Big Bull was intended for the cinemas.
Right.
It was shot keeping that scale in mind, and if you've seen the trailer, everything about it is larger than life.
Yeah.
We had announced our release date early last year, in fact, as October. The film was ready, and then the lockdown happened. And soon into the lockdown, Ajay, who's the producer of the film, came to me and said that, look, nobody really knows what's going to happen. There was, everybody was staring down this very dark tunnel, and nobody knew if there was light at the end of it. Especially in terms of films, that is the lockdown going to open up? If the lockdown opens up, will the theaters open up? If the theaters open up, at what capacity are they going to open up at? Right. And if they do, lastly, is the audience going to have the confidence to come to the theaters? So there was a lot of uncertainty about films at that point of time. When Ajay asked me that, do you think we should just go the digital route? At least this way we know that we can reach out to our audience and they can see our film from the safety of their homes. And at that point of time, it seemed like the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Where people were kind of being deprived of the experience of going to the movies. Here we had an opportunity, by God's grace, to reach out to the audience and and get our film out to them. So at that point in time, I think we were one of the first, if not the first film that decided to go digital.
Yeah.
And, then Hotstar went on this spree and picked up a lot of films to come out digitally. So somewhere, yes, there is that, look, we want to come in theaters, but the situation is what it is, and obviously the safety of our audiences means a lot more to us than anything else. And I'm happy that, come the 8th of April on Hotstar Disney Plus, you get to see the film at the safety of your home. So I'm happy about that.
Absolutely. Rather than fighting it, you might as well go a way that's safe and good for everyone.
Exactly.
I want to talk to you a little bit about vanity, okay? We all have some sort of vanity within us.
Talking to the wrong person about it, but okay.
Oh, come on, you're a looker. But we all have some sense of vanity in us as a species. We like to look good, feel good. You being in a profession where especially the look of your character is paramount. It's given a big weightage as actors. It's all about faces, bodies, all of that.
Sure.
I wanted to know your thoughts on an actor's vanity, because you are one artist that I've seen. You haven't really been fixated with like your character's look, and you're not like he needs to have a six pack, or he needs to. I'm not saying you haven't done your fair share of like buffed up, fit, that entire trope. You've done it, but then you've also completely sort of immersed yourself in a guru or a big bull. So, what is your thoughts on like an actor's vanity?
Well, if I may turn your question on its head, in fact, I feel I've been an actor who's always cared greatly about the look of the film and about the character. And that's why you try and achieve the look for that character. I understand where your question is coming from, and I feel maybe it comes from the fact that possibly we're a filmmaking nation that has certain basics in place for mainstream commercial cinema. Hence, there's a particular expectation of our main actors. I feel that mold in the last 7 to 10 years has been broken. And now, with the advent of the digital streaming platforms, has been shattered. I've always believed in looking the character. That's my belief as an actor, and that was my training as an actor. I believe that if you look the part, half of your acting is done right there. So, I did Guru, when I was 28, 29, and I played a 70-year-old character at a time when not many actors were doing that. But that was what I believed the character needed to do.
Yeah.
Now in Big Bull, whatever the look that we achieved is something that is very well thought out. It's not just done on a whim. These are all things that are thought out, from the way he'll walk, to his body language, to his gait. Is that going to change with success, etc., etc.? His dressing sense, his hair, his makeup, his weight. All of these things are all things that are worked out in minutest of details. And it's something that I've always enjoyed paying attention to, because if I can sell the character in the way it looks, then I know that somewhere the audience is going to buy into the script and to the film. I'm happy that's being done more rampantly now, because at the end of the day, I do believe, and I might be in the minority in this, but I do believe that when an actor comes on set, he has to leave his vanity in his trailer. Keep your vanity for the red carpet. That's where it's needed.
Right.
In front of the camera, you have to strip yourself of all of these things and just be available to the character and be the character, because that's the job you're doing. And I've enjoyed doing work like that. I did, for example, a movie like Ravan, 11 years ago. Be it a guru or be whatever. I've always been the kind of actor who believes that you have to look the part. And if that part requires me to have a certain particular glamorous version of it, I'm very happy doing that, because it has to be that. I've said this. When I did, like, for example, a Dhoom, and there's in Dhoom, there's a lot of emphasis on body.
Yeah.
I remember, various times I was asked, "Oh, why haven't you shown your six pack?" I'm like, Jay Dikshit is not the kind of cop who's going to walk around shirtless, you know?
Right.
He's this no-nonsense, hard as nails kind of cop, and he's not going to be bothered about taking off his shirt. That's not his character. He has to be fit, he has to be athletic, and he's that. But, you know, so there's a lot more detailing that goes into these kind of things. But I understand where your question is coming from. But I very firmly believe that an actor needs to check in his vanity at the door when he walks onto a film studio. Because at the end of the day, you have to be the character. You can't be yourself all the time. Absolutely. I think that era is finishing where there was no distinction between our real life self and our real life self, which was a requirement for us actors for a very long time in Indian cinema. And I feel that distinction has started now, where they want to see a very different person in reality and a very different person on screen.
Absolutely. No, that's very interesting. But you are one of the few, I would say, who has that sort of thinking, at least in my view. I know this whole comparison with like Scam 1992 is done to death, and I don't want to ask you about comparing the two projects at all. That's not fair. But what I do want to know from a very human standpoint is, were you at all concerned about audience saturation, in the sense that showing the same man's story, same era, atmosphere, you know, and both the projects were kind of buzzing fairly around the same time. And especially because Scam is like a long format web series, and we know they've got those hours and hours to, you know, build their characters and their tropes and really delve into the setting. And movies have that 2-ish hour time constraint. So
no. To my ignorance, I wasn't aware that Scam was being made.
Okay.
Like I said, I've always said, we finished the shooting of Big Bull in 2019. And then obviously we got stuck because of the lockdown and the pandemic. But it is what it is. You know, Scam is just fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Every department was fantastic. But do I believe that there's going to be a bit of saturation? No, because the approaches are very different.
Right.
The narrative is very different. The intention is very different. I've said this ad nauseum to a lot. You know, the writing procedure for a web series and for movies are totally different. Right. So I keep that in mind. And, you know, they could be similar stories, but they're told in very different, unique manners.
You've done a vast variety of roles in your filmography. I'm curious to know, is there a genre that you think you haven't explored yet, or a type of character that you haven't played yet that you're really waiting to stick your hands into? I know there'll be a lot, but something that you're just like, you just hope ki ye next ye ho jaye.
No, but I'm very ready to do a comedy again. You know, the last 3 to 4 years has been filled with some very intense work. So although my next 2-3 films are already lined up, but now I'm ready. I mean, I've been telling my entire team that, guys, we got to look for a comedy now, because I need to blow off some steam, you know, have some fun. It's been an intense 3-4 years.
You and comedy is something that goes really well hand in hand, I must say. Quick game, Midday and me, since we are midday, so haha.
All right.
Favorite midday meal or snack?
Any midday meal or snack is good. Anytime you have a snack, it's good for you. I'm not, like you said, I check my vanity out, so yeah.
3 things you always manage to do by the time it's midday.
Wake up, drink my coffee, and read Midday, by the way.
Oh, मेरे को मेरा promo मिल गया.
Yeah.
Okay. What is usually your midday mood?
Midday mood is just about getting hangry at that point of time.
Who would be your midday phone call? You're like your go-to person during that time.
My wife.
All right. And one instance that you remember being really productive by the time it was midday, specifically if you have like any anecdote that you can share, like an all-nighter.
Well, several. I mean, you know, especially if you're filming, you tend to wake up by 4:35 in the morning. So by midday, you're pretty much at your optimum. So yeah, I mean, after lunch, things start going downhill, right? So it's difficult to pick just one and give you an anecdote. But yeah, I think, I mean, it's the time in the day where I think most people are at their most productive.
Is there anything that comes to mind where you were like shattered and exhausted by the time it was midday? Like just any one?
Yes,
that
several.
Comes
I mean, there have been times when, I mean, I've shot for like 24, 48, 72 hours at a stretch at times. So yeah, our work tends to kind of take the mickey out of you. And there have been several times when you've been pulling a long night or something, then yeah, by midday you're pretty destroyed.
All right. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next time, in person.
Done. Take care. Stay safe. Stay safe.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You too.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.